So Melody from Transforming Melody, I will link her channel down below, threw a weight loss tag out there into cyberspace, YouTubers. So I'm going to pick up that tag and answer some of these questions. So I'll just jump right in. When did you start gaining weight? I started gaining weight when I was about 19, which was a long time ago. I was actually a stick in high school. My mother used to call me bird legs. I was so skinny. So I started having problems with weight gain after my senior year of high school. I blamed it on freshman 15, and it wasn't until the summer between freshman and sophomore year of college when I started having some other health problems that the weight gain really caught up to me, and I was diagnosed as having an underactive thyroid and then subsequently Hashimoto. So they were related. So that's when the weight started to go on. What was your heaviest weight? You know, I did not regularly step on a scale for a very long time. I didn't even own a scale that I remember. Maybe I did and didn't want to think about it. But I didn't really start paying attention to it until I joined Weight Watchers. 2101, I stepped on the scale and it said 168, something like that. And the top weight for my height, I am 5'1", is 132. So I am essentially 36, almost 40 pounds overweight. And as far as I know, that was my heaviest weight, excluding pregnancies, but it's possible I could have weighed more at certain times, but that is the number that sticks in my head. What diets have you been on? Weight Watchers, South Beach, Atkins, yeast-free. I think I probably throw in a slim fast diet here and there. Briefly did something related to sugar busters, and then toyed with the idea of doing one of those like meal delivery kind of things where they do the meal plan for you and you just get the food, but it wasn't Jenny Craig or something like that. Is your goal a size or weight on the scale? My goal, I'm almost always at or below my Weight Watchers goal weight, which is 132, highest weight for my height. But I don't like to be there. I don't feel good. I don't fit into clothes right. And it's not even the size that matters. It's more that I sort of sit at this weird in-between thing. When I am at a more my happy weight, which is anywhere from 120 to 125, I can solidly fit into 4s for pants. This is always my guideline that I use. I'm really small on top, so that doesn't really count. But I am proportionate to my size. I have bigger hips and a smaller waist. So pants tend to be a little bit kind of odd fitting, really. And as soon as the weight starts creeping up into the range that I do not like, my pants, I can fit a 4 in the waist, but they're really weirdly tight in the butt and the hips, and I hate that. I hate the way they look. And then I buy a 6, and they're way too big in the waist and kind of weirdly floppy in the hips, and I just hate that weird in-between size. It's not the number, it's just that I can't find anything that fits, feels good, or looks good. So my goal is really to be, in addition to healthy and at a healthy weight, I prefer to be comfortable in my skin and comfortable in my clothes. What is your favorite food? You know, it's almost easier for me to say which ones I don't like, because that list is a whole lot shorter. I love food. I am a foodie. I don't love Brussels sprouts, but I'll eat them. I won't make them, but I'll eat them. I don't love radishes, but if they're served to me, I will eat them. Not really big into really oddball, off-the-chart seafood from my perspective, so I can't really get into eel and octopus, squid. Mostly it's a texture thing. And I'm not really into really strange, to me, kinds of foods like pork belly and crickets and things like that. But for the most part, I love almost everything. From a real food perspective, I love a good filet mignon. Has to be super tender, has to be almost be able to cut with a fork for me to say I absolutely adore it. I love anything that's sort of cheesy and potato-y and pasta-y. I love chicken marsala. I love bread. From a processed food standpoint, my number one go-to, which I haven't gone to in forever, is Cheeto Puffs. I love Cheeto Puffs. I could eat a whole bag. But I haven't in a long time, which is a good thing. What food will you not give up? You know, I absolutely refuse to say I'm going to give up a food. I just don't think that's fair. Even my beloved Cheeto Puffs, I haven't technically given them up. They're not on, I don't have a list of things that I will never ever eat again. Do I recognize that certain foods for me are triggers? Yes, I do. And because they are triggers for me, I do not keep them around. But if I go to a Super Bowl party and there are some Cheeto Puffs out there, I will eat some Cheeto Puffs. Pizza, anything, I have a real savory tooth. So kind of anything that's real savory and salty, like I love spinach artichoke dip and would eat way too much of that. Queso, baked brie, cheeses and crackers. So all of those types of things, I actually just don't keep around because I'll eat too much of them. It's harder for me to moderate things that are my trigger food. But I'm not giving anything up. How do you reward your accomplishments? I am an internally motivated person. There's not really much externally you can dangle in front of me in order to hit a goal. Maybe money, but not really. I feel accomplished when I set a goal for myself and I hit it. I mean, I like to get manicures and pedicures and buy clothes. And if I want something, I will buy it or I will do it. And it has absolutely nothing with reaching a goal. And in fact, I have discovered that if I'm trying to do something that is really hard to attain, lose 10 pounds, get another job, whatever it is, if I dangle a carrot like that in front of myself, it's just torturous. It's awful and it doesn't motivate me at all. But from a scale perspective, let's say, if I'm on a quest to lose weight, the race, and I don't mean it from a standpoint of I have to lose weight fast or immediately, but just sort of that internal race to get to that number is very exciting to me. It's not a competitive thing. I'm not competitive with other people, but my brain, I'm competitive with myself. Like, oh yeah, you know, that motivates me. Seeing that number, seeing something change is really what motivates me. So I don't really reward my accomplishments except for I have a lot of internal, yeah, way to go kind of things. What will you do at your goal weight? You know what? If I actually hit my personal goal weight of 115, I'll probably faint flat out on the floor because I haven't seen that since I was in the middle of my divorce. I'm very happy where I am now. I'm, hovering at 122, hoping to maybe get closer to 120. But if you told me I could never lose another pound, I'd be like, okay, I'd be happy. So here I am, it's like the other times I've been at goal weight or below and I've been thrilled. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pat myself on the back for a job well done, and I'm going to try to maintain it and keep it up, and that's all I'm going to do. What diets are you following now? I follow Weight Watchers, which I don't really consider to be a diet. It's more like a box that I am contained by. So my 30-point box plus my 21-point weeklies, I just kind of live in a box. It's not really a diet, and it's not really a small box either. It just is. So those are my boundaries. But I also try very hard to not eat a lot of processed foods. I do eat some, and I've mentioned that in some other videos. I like to eat chips on occasion. When I buy bread, I don't make my own bread. Kudos to all of you guys who do. I can't bake worth a darn. Tried it. I don't buy specialty bread from a bakery trying to hit certain points. So I eat, Nature's Own or Sara Lee, which is kind of heavily processed. But I try to supplement my diet with as much just plain old lean protein and greens and vegetables and fruits as I can that are straight up unprocessed. So really that's kind of, I don't know if it's a diet, it's just the way I eat. What is your favorite body part? You know, I don't have big boobs, but I do very much like my, what do they call this? You know, your décolleté kind of thing, and my collarbones and into my shoulders. I wish I had more toned triceps and biceps, and I'd probably be strapless or halter top more often, but it's probably my favorite body part. But I don't have any parts where I just loathe them either, so kind of hard to say. What makes losing weight hard for you? Complacency. I have been doing Weight Watchers for 15 years, and I definitely get into my mode where I think, I know the points on that. I know how much of that I can eat. I know what I've eaten today. I know what I've eaten this week. And then it becomes just a mental tick, tick, tick in my head. And a month later, I'm thinking, I gained 5 pounds. So I would probably say complacency is the hardest thing when it comes to losing weight. I don't want to get into health problems as being that makes it so hard for me to lose weight, because they just are, and I've had them for so long, 30 years. I can't blame those anymore. I just have learned to work with them. Would you ever consider weight loss surgery? From the standpoint of a lap band or a gastric sleeve or something along those lines, I certainly don't even qualify for that. If I were heavy enough and I had explored enough opportunities to lose weight, and under the guidance of my doctor had not been successful, and that was the next step, I would certainly consider it, and I don't fault anybody who does. I think it's much more important to be healthy, to learn to eat healthy, to learn to manage the physiological and emotional things that come with eating, then it really isn't the nuts and bolts. How did you get to a good weight? I feel for people who struggle with their emotions and are emotional eaters, who have, we all do, right? The psychological baggage that really inhibits the way we feel about ourselves. And I feel for the people who have weight loss type surgeries and still struggle after, because they have not addressed the emotional piece that comes with weight gain and eating. And so would I consider it? Absolutely. Do I fault anybody else for considering it? No, I do not. But I do think that from a healthcare perspective, I don't feel that a lot of doctors do a very good job of working with patients on root causes of trying to lose weight and not succeeding, and then trying to maintain weight loss after weight loss surgeries. I have considered a tuck and a lift. After 2 babies, 2 cesareans, 40-pound weight loss, and kind of an up and down on the scale, if I had all the money in the world and time to take off, I probably would do a tummy tuck and like a breast, not an augmentation necessarily, but maybe a little bit, and a lift, just to sort of tighten up areas. My fear is that if I were to do that, then I'd be unhappy with something else. And I should even say I'm unhappy with, tummy, but I just dream big here, right? My luck would be, I would do that, and then I would think, I'm gonna go get lipo on my thighs and my butt, and I'm gonna go do this and do that and do that. And I don't want to get stuck in that I need to be improved kind of thing. It's not a bad thing to want to be better, but I'm afraid it might take me down kind of a dark path, if that makes sense. What are your non-scale goals? My non-scale goals are always to have healthy cholesterol numbers, healthy A1C numbers, healthy blood pressure. It is a combination of weight management and thyroid management that keeps me at good numbers. I want to reduce my risk of heart disease and stroke. My kids are teenagers, but I would like to live until I'm 100 if I can figure out a way to do it, at least from a health standpoint. My family is very important to me. I want to be here for them. And so my non-scale goals are to do what I need to do to maintain that. And the number on the scale tends to follow that when I work on those other goals, but they do kind of go hand in hand. When I was smaller, as in a child, my mother struggled with her weight, and I never understood it. I think it's very hard for someone who has never had a weight problem to really grasp how difficult it is to live with a weight problem. As a child, I remember having moments of embarrassment about my mother and the way she looked. And I think that's a very normal thing for a child. So I'll find a million other reasons for my children to be embarrassed by me, but that's not one of the ones. I want to give them a good example for, even if I can't maintain 100% health and 100% goal weight, I want them to see the example that I am working my butt off to try to do that. And I want them to be, proud of me and happy that I'm healthy and around for them. So that is the last question. I'm going to tag some other people down in the description bar, but if I don't tag you, or if you're just interested in jumping on board this Weight Watchers weight loss tag, then you just go right ahead. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.